Right, so you're going to put your two fronts together. You have a pocket on each side. Two fronts together, right sides together, and you're going to stitch them together. Please do not stitch right at the crotch. Go up about an inch from the inner leg and back stitch, and then at a half an inch you are going to stitch until you hit the notch right there. Okay, that's really high. Okay, whatever, that's the notch. So here's my notch right here. So at my seam allowance, I'm going to go right to the notch, then I'm going to back stitch, and then come over here. And then you're going to press that seam allowance open. You're going to make sure that that notch is clipped all the way to there. And then you're going to take your fly facing, which you have fused, and you have serged around the curved edge only. Do not serge around this straight edge, because that's going to be inside a seam. So you serge around the curved edge like that. And then you're going to place this on your center front, and it's going to go down a half inch or so past the notch, which is what it should do. So then at a half an inch, you want to stitch this down, and you want to match that seam exactly, because this is what you see. This is the part you actually see. So I put my finger on, and I did it really slowly so I could match that seam up exactly. So if you look at that, can we see it? It is matched exactly. There's no little dig. It's not here, it's not there, it's not stopping here. It's matching that exactly. That's really important. Okay, so once you've done that, you can then trim the seam allowance off of the facing, and we like to trim these seam allowances on one side because it's called grading, right? Make it so that it's not so bulky. And then you're going to do what you just did on the pocket. You're going to understitch it, and on this one I like to understitch from this side because you can run it off. It makes it life a lot easier. So you just understitch, put everything toward the facing side, and pull your seam allowance out of the way, and then you can understitch and just run it right off. Excuse me. Then you're going to press that baby down so it looks beautiful like that. Now in jeans we always will edge stitch that. We don't traditionally in men's dress pants. Okay. So you just press that so it's all beautiful. Then you're going to take the zipper. I'll do the zipper first. And I'm starting here. Now when we do a zipper, you don't make it so the teeth like are right here on the edge. The zipper tape is right on the edge, because if you do that, when you open it up, you're going to see your zipper teeth. So what we do is we slide it over so that if you're to look at it from this side, the serged edge is barely covering the zipper teeth. So you can see there's part of the zipper tape that is off to the side here, and we are barely getting off of the zipper teeth. Okay, so if you look at that, the serged part is right there on the zipper teeth, like that. Okay, so you have to see some of the tape. This is really important, because if you don't do that, then what happens is that you see your zipper teeth. Okay. And then you want to stitch that down, obviously using a zipper foot, right next to it. I'm just going to touch that just a little bit because I'm not using a zipper foot. There we go. Just to save time, and it puckered that up a little bit, so that when you do it, you look at it, and it is stitched about 1/4 of an inch inside of the seam allowance, right? So that's really important to do. And then you are going to edge stitch that down. And what that does is it just gives it a little bit of strength. And it's okay to do in dress pants because you don't actually see it. And it also, it also just secures the zipper just a little teeny bit more. Slide that away. There you go. Done. So now if you were to do this and bring your fly facing side up so it runs straight up, look what happens. We do not see your zipper teeth at all. They are hidden about 1/4 of an inch into your seam. Yep. Isn't that lovely? That's why it's really important to do this step that way. So now you can go like this and pull, and you're not going to see the zipper teeth. Okay? So then we line this up. We make sure that's all perfect and that's lined up, 1/4 inch past. Everything's good. And we go like this and we hold it down. We're holding tight to it. We don't ever let it go. And we stitch it down onto the other side, the zipper teeth. Tape, we stitch down onto the fly facing. Like that. So now we have, ta-da! Okay. Of course, now you can see the zipper teeth because I'm pulling it. But if you were to do that, you don't see it. So the next step is we're going to do the top stitching on the outside. Please, 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 please do not make a super wide top stitch. I can't tell you how many times people have gone to the edge of this facing and done a fly seam right here like that, like a 2-inch wide. I swear, almost every time people do that. Have you ever in your life seen a fly stitching that wide from here to here? No. Look. No. They're usually 1 inch and 1/4 to 1.5 inches tops. Not ever the width of this fly facing. That's super wide. Don't do it. So you lay this down nice and beautiful, and at approximately 1.5 inches, you are going to, holding this down, making it beautiful, you're going to do a completely straight parallel line to here, and then when you get down to almost the bottom, that's when you can curve it across, making sure that you're not tucking that and doing something weird, and then back stitch a little bit. Now this is also where some people do something wonky. They will, as they're stitching that on, I find that they'll all of a sudden do a big huge tuck right here, and I almost did, right? Because I wasn't pulling it. Then all of a sudden you'll see that there's this big tuck like this, and then we're like, so what's with that? So don't do that. Make sure you're pulling it nice and snug so that when you do that it looks nice. Okay? So that is our fly. We're going to do the fly shield when we do the, we'll do that next, and then we'll attach the facing. So the fly shield has a lining piece to it. So you take that and you're going to stitch it down on this little curved part, right? It's not curved part, this funky angular part. You're going to start right there. And then you're going to stitch it all around at 1/2 inch, like that. Okay. Then you're going to clip out some of this because we do not need that much fabric in here. And trim it off there, like that. And then you will take this and you'll take it over there and you'll press it. And I like to edge stitch this one too. It's on the inside. It gives just a little teeny bit more strength. And then you can use your point turner, the curved part of your point turner, to get that all perfect there. Thanks, David. And get the point turned right. So you can get in here, use your point turner for that, the pointy side, to get that little point really nice. And then use your curved side to get this one really nice. And go in there, and you do that when you're ironing. And over here, and you're going to top stitch this all down like that, and then that gets serged. This side right here will now get serged because now we're going to attach it over here, and we want to, it's going to be attached to this, and we just want it serged just so that all of our edges are nicely serged. Some people will have you put the fly shield on before you do this, but I find it always gets in students' ways. And oh, that was speedy. And so it's a little awkward. So the fly shield, oh look how long it is. That's because the fly shield goes up higher than the pant because it's actually going to go inside of the waistband. Okay? So what we want is this part right here. We want to make sure that it's up here. because it's going to get attached to the pant, and you want to match these up down here so they line up at the bottom. So if you look at them, this lines up pretty much down there. And now what we're going to do, this lines up, the serge edge lines up with the zipper tape, and very carefully using your zipper foot, of course, you are going to stitch that on, making sure you pull the pants aside, the front aside so you don't catch that. You're just going to stitch that on to the zipper tape like that. Okay, and so now you have your fly facing that's been attached down and pressed beautifully. You have your zipper that's attached to it. You have your zipper that's attached to the front, and you have now your fly facing that's attached. And if you want just to give yourself a little security, because this kind of pulls, just so when you're putting your waistband on you don't run into a problem, you can just come here and you can just stitch that little teeny bit down right there so that it's secure. You don't have to, but I find it's helpful because now it's not going anywhere. And now look at that. You got this lovely little fly that when you pull on it, you don't see the zipper, you open it up and you have a nice fly shield, right? And we have the fly shield, why? You don't catch anything. Because owie.